was never that big into trading cards back in the day. Like, I didn't really care too much for Pokemon. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, though. I really enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh. Couldn't play the game for squat, but we tried, alright? I think you get, like, some life points, and I think, like, there's monsters, and there's trap cards. That sounds provocative. Though when I was in 4th grade, we went crazy for Bakugan. Like, Bakugan was the stuff when I was growing up. I remember I would come home from my soccer games on Saturdays, and I would sit down and watch Bakugan, like the anime on TV. Apart from that, as far as today, I have a bunch of friends who do Magic the Gathering, but I'm really not super into trading cards. However, I think I'm in the minority.
Pokemon was just for children. The secondary market for certain Pokemon cards disagrees. Since Pokemon trading cards were introduced in 1996, prices for some first
Outside of my childhood, though, there is a deep history for trading cards. Some of the first trading cards came out in the 1800s in packs of cigarettes, to help get that ever-so-beloved child smoker market. In the 50s, sports cards, more specifically baseball cards, were wildly popular with children, with surviving cards today going for crazy amounts of money.
For a mint condition 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card. I know you've always wanted one.
Is this thing real?
Oh, yes.
It's a deal.
I thought so.
Check the valet.
No, it's not. You're not trading our Porsche for a baseball card, Larry.
You know what that thing is worth?
You know what it's worth? Nothing. Nothing. That's what it's worth. Get out of here, you bum.
In the 1990s, there was a massive boom for trading cards. On one hand, you had Topps making cards for everything from baseball to Batman, and on the other hand, you had Nintendo and the Pokemon Company pumping out their wildly successful card game based on the anime that no child actually knew how to play whatsoever. But none could deny the designs were destined to lure children into trying to buy, catch them all. You know what else happened in the 90s? On the 2nd of August 1991, the dictator of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, ordered a full-scale invasion of neighboring country Kuwait over disputes regarding oil drilling and Iraq's debt to Kuwait as well. They secured the country in only 2 days, only to be met with the might of a 42-country coalition force led by the United States. The operation began as Desert Shield, which lasted from August to January that next year, and was primarily made up of air assaults and artillery bombardments before ground forces worked their way from January to February to finally free Kuwait from Iraqi hands. And guys, they made like a ton of merch about this war. They made t-shirts, they made buttons, they did a partnership with Hasbro and made G.I. Joes. That one kind of makes sense. And considering this war coincided with the trading card boom of the 90s, companies like Topps and ProSet raced to put out their own collections of cards featuring leaders, vehicles, maps, and more based around the conflict. And I got a massive box of them, unopened, in my hand. Alright, welcome one and welcome all to another video, and we're not talking about toy army men today. We're doing something a little bit different, but it's still kind of military toy themed, and we are going to be looking at the trading cards from the 90s based off of Desert Storm. So, there was a lot of political fanfare around Desert Storm, and at the same time, of course, like I was saying, they had a big trading card boom in the 90s as well, and those things mixed together gave us these, and there's a ton of different types of cards from Desert Storm. However, like, these are the few that I owned, and these were the ones that were also kind of the most popular. So, this set right here is based off of Desert Shield, and this is the full collector's set. So, really interesting. And these were made by Pacific Trading Cards and copyright 91. So, yeah, you could buy this full set. I think I paid like $10 for these at an antique store. I'm going to itch them out. And most of these literally just are, I'll take a few out, different vehicles, the USO show, really interesting, General Colin Powell, don't know who that guy is. Can we put some kawaii cat ears on him, editor? Thank you, editor. I love you. Alright, so I'm going to put these away, back over here, and I also have some Topps trading cards. We'll open some of these up just to look at them. But yeah, you can still get these for relatively cheap. They made a ton of them, and they also sold pretty good. So, medical support. So we got information on the back. We got a vehicle right here. I'm not going to read all of that because reading is for nerds. Scud missiles. So we got a big Scud missile there. Black and white photo. And yeah, these were sold under the guise of being educational. I think they really just wanted to cash in on young boys who loved trading cards and who loved military stuff. But yeah, this is just the Moroccan flag. That's interesting. No information on the back. But yeah, and they all have pictures. So yeah, and I have a ton of the Topps ones too unopened. So if this video does do relatively well, I will go out of my way to do a video on those. But I wanted to do a video on these today, specifically because I want the Saddam Hussein rookie card. Okay, the Saddam Hussein rookie card, that is my goal. I want to get it, and I want to have it graded. So I got a bunch in this box, and when I say you can still get these, I got this whole, oh my goodness, I got this whole box for like literally $25. Like, you can still get these for dirt cheap. And at the same time, they did sell pretty good. Like, I was reading a bunch of stories from the 90s online, and, like, I saw some where, like, card shops had trouble keeping these in stock. So, yeah. We're going to go through, and we are going to unbox, open, and look at a bunch of these. I don't know if we're going to do the whole box. I'll see how the time looks. If we need to do a part 2, we'll do a part 2. I'm kind of just going through the motions with this. But, alright. And, of course, if we get any doubles, I am going to just not pay too much attention to them after looking at them once. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, I'm just being stupid. Alright. So we got military asset, armored artillery. And these aren't like a card game or nothing. These are just literal informational cards. So the AMX-30 main battle tank made by the French. Both coalition and Iraqi forces used it. Didn't know that. That's interesting. Military skill, latitude and longitude. Okay, so I guess that is going to be like the theme or the genre. Those are probably the wrong words to use it. So, measurement of latitude and longitude provides a system for locating any position on the globe. Very interesting. Intelligence file, dog tags. All U.S. military personnel are issued dog tags in boot camp. Of course, we all know what dog tags are. However, tag dogs is a whole different thing. General Alfred M. Gray, an old white man, enlisting in the U.S. Marine Corps. I don't want to read all that. I'm not going to read all of these. Geography. Australia? I guess because they're one of the coalition forces. I guess that's why. But it kind of feels like they were stretching to get some content. At least a little bit. Alright. Warbird. Military asset. The F-15 Eagle. That's really cool. Moon phases? What?
Mr. White, look. Full moon. Oh no, Jesse. Run! What? Run before it's too late!
Military skill? Moon phases factored heavily in military operations for Operation Desert Storm. Really? That's interesting. Okay. Personnel, United States Military Academy at West Point. And then a bunch of people who have been to West Point on the back of there. The United Nations Security Council, made up of countries that never ever commit wars or war crimes, like Saudi Arabia, the United States, Russia, countries that never do anything wrong. And the final card out of here is Hungary. I'm kind of hungry now that I think about it. But yeah, another coalition country. And I feel like I should sort these out, right? But I'm not going to do that. Okay, moving on. We got a lot of cards to get through, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get through literally all of them. So, keep it going. Armored artillery, the M1A1, that's really cool. So, the M1A1. So, we only lost one Abrams tank in Desert Storm, and this is one of the few Desert Storm facts I know off the cuff, and it was because we scuttled it to keep it from falling into the hands of the Iraqis. I don't know what happened to it. It broke down or something, so we just destroyed it to keep them from getting it. So, map reading, very important skill. So, reading maps is an essential skill for civilians and the military. Absolutely. I wish I knew how to read. The Central Intelligence Agency. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. So, the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, was created by the National Security Act of 47 to oversee intelligence activities of the USA. And of course, whenever I think of CIA, I think of American Dad. Geography, the United States. We got a United States rookie card. That's really cool. A charter member of the United Nations, the USA is a permanent member of the Security Council. Very, very cool. Very, very interesting. Hold on. I want to smell these. Do a smell test. They smell like the 90s. They smell like grunge, I can tell you that. They smell like a flannel that's been to a grunge concert. Alright, Belgium. The Belgians have never done anything bad. Congo. Taking its name from the early inhabitants of Belgae, Belgium became an independent nation in 1830, separating itself from the Netherlands. I should probably put my glasses on. The M113 Armored Personnel Carrier. Very cool. Bunch of information about that on the back. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time reading these. A military asset. The USS Blue Ridge. I don't know how much of this equipment is still in service, including the Blue Ridge. Not off the top of my head. Department of State. The U.S. Department of State is the oldest. These are so boring. These are so boring so far. I mean, the vehicle ones are cool, but, I guess if I was a nerd for the military, I'm going to put the stack over there. The Canadian National Anthem? These are so weird. I feel like they should have done, guns. I'm sure we may come across some guns, but I guess that would have just not been so great, because these were kind of marketed towards children. So, right here, we got Bahrain. Don't know what that is. Let's learn. Iran ruled Bahrain during the 17th and 18th centuries. In 1820, Bahrain became a British protectorate. When the British withdrew, it became an independent emirate in 1971. Oil was discovered in 32, but largely depleted by the mid-70s. So, yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, no Saddam rookie card yet, but I got a good feeling about this pack. Okay, I'm a gambling man, and whenever I get a good feeling, normally doesn't help. In fact, if anything, good feelings typically make me more disappointed. Alright, we got the F4G Wild Weasel. So, that's an interesting name, because weasels, if you don't know this, do not fly. In evolution of the F4 Phantom 2, the F4G is responsible for suppressing enemy radar sites. Okay, that's really interesting. So during SHIELD, we were bombing tons of military bases and sites like that. Okay, the USS Theodore Roosevelt, my favorite president that hates rich people, mostly because he was like the only one. The newest of the U.S. Navy's complement of carriers in Operation Desert Storm, the Theodore Roosevelt has 4-geared steam turbines and 4 shafts powered by 2 modern nuclear reactors. Gotta love nuclear reactors. Middle East history ancient. Instead of saying Middle East ancient history, rivers in the Middle East played a key role in the development of early civilization. The Samaritans. These are so boring. Oh my gosh, I can't even make a joke about that. United Nations resolutions. These really were as educational. Look on the back. The United Nations. Always useful. We all know that. Iran. So, before the Gulf War, Iran and Iraq were at war in what was known as the Iran-Iraq War. They had been at war for like 5 or 6 years. And, we really only started caring when Iraq invaded Kuwait because of oil. Alright, so we got a Scud missile. I cannot speak today. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak today. So Scud missiles were Soviet-made missiles, and Iraq had a ton of them. One of the things that we did, we destroyed tons of Scud missile sites, so they couldn't be used against us. So, the USS Richmond K. Turner. Very interesting. The United States Coast Guard. Those budget cuts must have really been hurting under the Bush administration. Oh my goodness. The U.S. Coast Guard had its beginnings in 1790 when the Revenue Cutter Service was established to pursue smugglers along U.S. shores. Fun fact, the Coast Guard was originated from Alexander Hamilton. Kuwait system. Bunch of words and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. And Egypt. And of course we got a Sphinx for Egypt, because that's what you think when you think Egypt, nothing else. In fact, I think they still live in the pyramids over there. I can't be too sure though. Home of the Nile. The Cheops. I'm probably not saying that right. Pyramid in the Suez Canal. Egypt has to contend with Muslim fundamentalists who protest president. Whoa, why are we going into the anti-Muslim rhetoric? Like, right away. You can't start out with, like, most famously known for their pyramids. No, you just gotta go, and Muslims hate them. Like, just... Jeez Louise, these are very 90s coded. Alright, let's keep it going. We gotta get that Saddam rookie card. That's the only thing I really want in this whole series is the Saddam. And I kind of want two, because I kind of want to sell one. Because these are pristine and, like, never been opened. These are not resealed. So, again, apparently the Saddam rookie card is very collectible. Bombs. Very straightforward. I like it. Bombs are usually categorized as being one of 3 major types. I'm going to move my light. See if that helps the glare. General purpose bombs typically weigh from 500 to 2,000 pounds. Very interesting. They most certainly are not light. Weigh about as much as your mom. Maybe they should drop your mom out of an airplane. Military time. So we all know military time. Most European countries and the U.S. armed forces use the 24-hour system of counting hours. So, like, for example, 1200, that's 12 o'clock noon. But then 2400 is 12 a.m. And then, like, 1300, that's 1 o'clock. So going from 12 o'clock noon, you have 13, 1, 14, which is 200. Had to learn military time when I, not when I joined the military, because I've never been, but when I worked at McDonald's, because their schedules were done in military time. And I learned the hard way that a lot of fast food restaurants really love military time. Don't know why. Don't know why, as a 18-year-old kid, I had to learn military time for McDonald's. Certainly felt like I was in the military. Congress, again, everyone's most favorite branch of government. The Congress of the United States is the legislative branch of government. It is the bicameral divided into two somewhat equal parts organization, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state, elected for 6-year terms. The members of the House representatives are elected for 2 years. At present, there are 435 representatives. The number allowed each state is being based upon population. So, like, California and Texas get a whole bunch, but then, like, Maine and Rhode Island get barely none. Lieutenant General Charles A. Horner. I feel like I've heard of him, but I don't know from what. Commissioned for the second lieutenant of the U.S. Air Force after his graduation from college, Horner was awarded his pilot wings in November 1959 and worked his way through the ranks to become general on August 1st, 1988. Very interesting. Editor, can we put kawaii cat ears on this guy too? Thank you, editor. Riyadh. I probably butchered that really bad. The Muslim sect of the Wahhabists selected Riyadh is... I can't read all of those words. I am not... It's not that I'm stupid. I'm tired. He lied. So, military asset. The Stinger missile. Okay, now we're getting into some cool stuff here. Oh, look at that guy. That guy looks cool. What's that photo from? Is that from Vietnam? I feel like... No, that's not from Vietnam, because the Stinger wasn't invented then. A fire-and-forget weapon. The Stinger is a portable shoulder-fired guided missile that enables ground troops to defend against low-altitude attack from enemy fighter craft. I have used this a lot in COD and Battlefield. Okay, the Spruance-class destroyer. Very cool. Very cool battleship. And it looks like they just took this image and flipped it for the back image. I can't say I blame them. Middle East history present. Is this going to be more anti-Muslim? One key understanding present Middle Eastern events is Arab nationalism. And of course it is. The Arab world is divided over whether to unite under a single political entity for the benefit of power and therefore recognition. Again, these are from the 90s. They were made here in the U.S. So, Sheikh Jabir al-Ahmad al-Sabah. Don't know who this guy is. Let's learn. Okay, so he was the leader of Kuwait, looks like, or the emir of Kuwait. I don't know if that's the leader. So, born in 1926. Education, I thought that said was tortured. I saw education was tortured. And I was like, hold on a second. China. And of course the Great Wall of China, because that's the only thing that's in China. With the world's largest population, China has a recorded history of more than 5,000 years. And about 1,000 of that is actually true. So, I guess this was one of the coalition forces. Oh no, China was not a participant in Operation Desert Storm. Wait, so why is China on here? Is it because China was on the United Nations Security Council? Yeah, this is just about China. This has nothing to do with Desert Storm. Get out of here, China. No offense, but you had nothing to contribute. Alright, let's keep it going. I see a card for Iran, but... Interestingly enough, we've had no duplicates yet. We've gone through about 4 packs, so... The Tornado. And I'm going to stop digging too deep into these. I'll flip them over. So this was the Saudi Air Force's jet. Really cool. An aggressive class minesweeper. Very cool. Because we still gotta get through all of those. Ooh, yikes. The National Security Act. And I know these are educational, but goodness gracious, could there be a card for like the AK-47 or something? Just something cool, like... And this was a really big pivot. So Yemen. Because if y'all know Vietnam history, which I'm more familiar with Vietnam than I am the Gulf War, Vietnam was heavily ostracized, like to the point that even in the early 70s, Timmy, Toy Army Men, had a dip in sales, and that's why they started doing all the different colored neon Army Men, was to try and bolster them, because anti-war rhetoric was like so popular. Like the war in Vietnam was so unpopular that like it actually hurt military toys. City of Kuwait, and there's that one thing we had a card for earlier. So the FA-18 Hornet, another jet. Really cool. I do appreciate we haven't really gotten any duplicates, but like you can tell they were stretching. The USS Saratoga, named after the Battle of Saratoga. Just Islam. Just Islam. Just a card for Islam. I'm curious. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all believe in the same God, whom Muslims call Allah, as well as in the prophets Abraham and Moses. The followers of Islam recognize Jesus as a prophet preceding Muhammad. The 5 pillars of Islam are the statement, there is no God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. Praying 5 times a day in the direction of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, giving regularly to charity, fasting during the days of Ramadan, and making a pilgrimage to Mecca if possible. Okay, that's actually very polite. Considering all the This was also pre 9/11. If they made a card set after 9/11, it would have been probably ridiculously racist. Sweden, again, like, was Sweden located in the Scandinavian peninsula after people. Sweden supplied medical personnel. Okay, cool, I guess. Oh, Iraq, we got the Iraq card. Republic of Iraq. Ancient Iraq was known as Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. Modern Iraq, meaning cliff, in Arabic encompasses more territory than Mesopotamia. And there's the Republic of Iraq flag. So, and they really weren't a republic. Saddam was a dictator. Say what you want about our involvement, but he was a dictator. Okay. That's yeah, we're not even like halfway through this deck, so I may have to break this video up into multiple parts. Hawk guided missile system. Fire and forget. I love that phrase. I'm going to say that next time I have to shoot a home intruder. Hand signals. They were just making cards for everything. When noisy vehicles maneuver, silent explicit hand signals. So yeah, you got these guys who direct planes and stuff on, and all the colors, because you'll see these guys wearing yellow, red, green. They all mean different things. I don't know what they mean. I just know they all mean different things. U.S. Marine Warrior. Could they have found a better photo? Like, did they have to get a photo where he's surrounded in mustard gas or whatever? Like, did they have to? And again, on the back, U.S. Marines trained to be infantry first. They are taught that they will face 9 common elements of combat. And there they are there. I love the feeling of isolation. So I'm one step to being a Marine. Because I also feel very isolated. Mostly because I'm depressed. Turkey. So Turkey. Did we get a Turkey card? Speaking of, Thanksgiving was the other day. I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. Czechoslovakia. Were they one of the... Okay, for Operation Desert Storm, Czechs sit in anti-chemical warfare unit. Okay, they just sit a couple dudes. Sorry about that, guys. There was an actual domestic dispute happening right outside of my apartment. So the C-130 Hercules. So this is the plane that the Timmy C-130 quite obviously is based off of. So a medium-range tactical airlift aircraft, the C-130 Hercules was designed to transport cargo and personnel within the Operation Desert Storm area. And I'm pretty sure they still use it today. Oh, I dropped it. Still, no Saddam rookie card. We gotta get the Saddam rookie card. So the USS Midway, is that the best photo they could find? Like, you barely see any of the ship. Okay, there's a way better photo. This should have been on the front, and they should have had a different photo back here. So, the Midway, that was an aircraft carrier. If y'all don't notice, the United States has like 13 aircraft carriers, and I think the only country that comes close to us is maybe like China, and they have like 3. So, yeah. Judaism. You just straight Judaism. Jews. Starting it right off the bat. Jewish people, they're the only group of people whose name is also like a derogatory thing to call them. Jews believe God is above all and created everything. Accepting the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai formed a covenant or pact with God. So, Jews. Ah, yes, the kids were all fighting each other to get the Brian Mulroney card. That's right. After being a lawyer in Montreal, Mulroney became an executive with an Iron Ore Co. of Canada. He was elected to Parliament as leader of the Progressive Conservative Party. 2 interesting words to put together. So, and Greece, found most commonly in my kitchen. So, come on, Saddam. Come on, Saddam. We gotta get that Saddam rookie card at some point. So, a plane, an airplane, lots of different airplanes. What's this? Navigation, very important. Of course. I'm guessing this is like the complete set. Because, like, I've gotten practically no repeats. So, what's this? Rank. Okay, so that's just, like, how to read. If it was a card, what they should have done is had, like, a little diagram of how to read rank. Like, what all of the emblems represent. That would have been really cool. Ali Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani. I probably butchered the heck out of that. President of Iran. Okay, interesting. Of course, like I said, Iraq was at war with Iran before they invaded Kuwait. Qatar. So the state of Qatar. I'm going to try to fly through these. So an A6 Intruder. Another plane. Was that the one we just had like a minute ago? No, that was a different one. So we got a Perry-class frigate. Very cool. I'm sorry these are kind of dull. But again, I mean, they're interesting at the same time. The United Kingdom. Okay. What do they say about the United Kingdom? With the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215, England paved the way for modern democracies to exist. I mean, yeah, technically. So they supplied more than 50,000 troops. Didn't know that. That's interesting. Oman. And my other favorite country, Yemen. So the economy of Oman is based principally on petroleum, which constitutes 95% of its exports. So, just in case someone tells you that we weren't in the Middle East for oil. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go through even this whole stack because we are... So I'll probably open up a couple more of these. So, Patriot missiles. So we still use these this day. It's one of the things we send to Ukraine. So the highly effective mobile air defense missile that has been the chief protector against the Scud missile attacks in the Middle East. So they're in a big truck and they're fired from the thing over there. Really cool. Recognition cards. So here's a first. We have a card about cards. It's Cardception. And yeah, they hand these out to soldiers so you can identify, tons of different stuff. And I think you can buy those. They made so many of them. If you go to like Army surplus stores, I think I've seen them. So really cool, interesting thing to have. Christianity. All right. So Christians believe in one God as revealed in three persons: God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Jesus' death and resurrection restored the relationship between man and God. So, and they got a little Bible right there. They have two Bibles because they have one that's opened up. And it's Colin Powell card. Hold on, didn't we have? Yeah, we did. We had a Colin Powell card for the other set for Desert Shield. It's the same photo except they zoomed in a little bit more. Okay. So they both decided, they were both like, we gotta have a Colin Powell card. He's very important. Denmark. Sure. For Operation Desert Storm, Denmark supplied personnel. Okay. Oh, heck yeah, we got an Apache. I actually identify as an Apache. One of the deadliest weapons in the U.S. arsenal, the Apache played an important role in Operation Desert Storm. I think we still use the Apache to this day. Alright, so we got a hovercraft right here. So, the LCAC. So, I really want to make one of these out of Lego. The LCAC is a landing craft that rides on a cushion of air. It is an important vehicle in the U.S. Marine amphibious assault operations. So, really cool. U.S. Naval Academy. Sure, why not? To enter the Academy, an applicant must be a U.S. citizen 17 to 22 years old, unmarried, not pregnant, and have no legal support obligations, of good moral character, scholastically, medically, and physically fit, and nominated by an official source. Alright, so I was out of the picture at 22, right? I'm already just out of there. Midshipmen receive approximately $500 a month plus tuition, room, and board. That's actually not bad at all for Naval Academy. Alright, here's Al-Assad, leader of Syria. So after Syria became independent from France in 1946, he continued to be politically active. Yeah, or am I thinking of someone else? Is he not the same Al-Assad that just got overthrown recently? And Morocco, which I think we had Morocco a little while ago, so I think that was a repeat. I got a good feeling, guys. I promise, I got a good feeling. We'll go on for another, I don't know, 10 or so minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. Tomahawk cruise missiles. Very interesting. And I love that photo of the cruise missile just like going slam dunk into a rusty ship. So, interesting. The USS John F. Kennedy. So, interesting. Firefighters, personnel. Guys, we did it. We got the Saddam rookie card. Dude, this is what I've been working for my whole life. Hussein has been president of Iraq since 1979. Skill and force have kept him in power. Just say what you like about the guy. He is also head of the Ba'ath Party, which supports policies of socialism and Arab nationalism. In 1959, Hussein was forced into exile because of his association with the failed assassination plot. Returning to Iraq, he was imprisoned from 64 to 66. Jeez Louise, this guy's a real jerk. Hussein began laying the foundation for his rise to power. It's like the opening to a Tom Clancy novel. Goodness gracious. But yeah, we got him. We got Saddam Hussein, which I was sure he was in here. But at the same time, I'll probably have this card graded, and hopefully I'll get one or two more throughout this set. Because I actually would kind of like to sell them, because they do go for a little bit of money. Not crazy money, but just a little bit. Diego Garcia, main island of the Chagos Archipelago, has been part of the British Indian Ocean Territory since 1965. So, has a Spanish name, part of the British Empire, and in the Indian Ocean. So, globalism, am I right? Okay, so we got the Maverick missile. Really cool. Tons of different missiles. I wish there were some guns, but I kind of see why they didn't do that. I would love to have a card that was like the M16 and a card that was the AK-47. Know what I'm saying? USNS Hospital ship. So really cool. And of course, they're painted white with the red cross because you don't want to destroy a hospital ship. Our ambulances, Russia, donating blood. just donating blood. Donating blood is a safe, painless act of love for fellow human beings. I like that. That's really nice. That's a really positive thing to say. I'd like that. Thank you, Desert Storm. And this guy, I guess he's the Israeli Prime Minister. Sir, been Prime Minister. Yeah, he's the Prime Minister of Israel. I think now it's Benjamin Netanyahu, right? He's the Prime Minister. Which, weirdly enough, I don't think is the leader, like the direct leader of Israel. I think that's like another guy, but I am not sure. Like I actually just don't know things, so y'all shouldn't quote me. In fact, most of that script I wrote was based off of Wikipedia. In France. So there we go. We got him. We got after like however many empty packs. We got Saddam Hussein. So hopefully we'll do another video later on because this one's kind of getting long. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, we will most definitely do a part 2 where I'll go through this stack right here. So just to recap, we got about a good 70 cards right here, I think. I think we opened about 7-8 packs. And yeah, these are really interesting, legitimately. Interesting piece of history. So, and of course, we got Saddam Hussein. Chat, can we put kawaii cat ears on this Saddam Hussein? Thank you, chat. I'm so alone.
Accomplished. Well done, man. Pack it up. We're going home.